Dr. Maria Anderson, and in this workshop, I will be highlighting some of the strategies set out in my chapter, Affirm Your Potential, that appears in this fabulous book, Purpose and Passion. The book itself is a compilation of enduring stories from women who share their experiences of what purpose and passion mean to them. Some of the stories are lighthearted, some are heartfelt, but for the most part, the stories are from women who found the courage to create change and make a difference. Also, some of the stories offer advice and inspiration for others to find purpose and passion in their own lives so that they can take deliberate action through their work, family, and community. What I'd like to share next is the aims of the workshop. Research tells us that if we have a sense of purpose, we are more likely to be healthier, happier, and feel more fulfilled in our lives. But there are factors that get in the way. I have written about some of these factors in my Affirm Your Potential chapter, and I'll go through each of those in a moment. First of all, let's discuss the aims. We will be understanding how expectations of self define our lives. We will clarify the difference between decisions versus choices. We will explore the meaning of self, appreciate how the fear of the unknown self can be defeating, and define what is meant by the affirmed self. Before we go to the workshop proper, I want to share a little bit about myself. I'm a clinical and health psychologist. I completed a degree in behavioural sciences with honours in the year 2000. I registered as a general psychologist with APRA in 2004 after completing my 2-year psychological supervision training, which is kind of like an apprenticeship for psychologists. As if that wasn't enough study, I went on to complete a doctorate of health psychology, graduating in 2012 at La Trobe University, which is on the outer suburbs of Melbourne, Australia. My doctoral thesis explored using motivational strategies to support general health behaviour change. During my studies, I completed some major health psychology training at a leading general hospital, and just as I was handing my thesis in, I signed up to complete additional training through Deakin University to provide clinical psychology services in addition to my health psychology services. As a result of my studies, I've been a long-time fellow member of the Australian Psychological Society Clinical and Health Colleges. I've been in private practice since 2004, and since 2015, I have had an established health clinic in Melbourne called 𝑷𝒖𝒓𝒑𝒐𝒔𝒆 𝑷𝒂𝒔𝒔𝒊𝒐𝒏 Centre, where we offer a number of supportive modalities. I have an interest in the natural therapies, and I take a holistic view of emotional well-being because I believe that the mind and the body need nurturing for optimal health. I offer in-clinic and online therapeutic support, and this is the first of many online workshops I hope to offer. I also have a newsletter that provides helpful health hints. If you're interested in joining, go to my 𝑷𝒖𝒓𝒑𝒐𝒔𝒆 𝑷𝒂𝒔𝒔𝒊𝒐𝒏 Centre and Dr. Marie websites to sign up. All the details will be provided at the end of the workshop. Now, my backstory. That was all the formalities, but prior to studying, I have a background in human resources training and occupational rehab. Even though I was having what society would regard as a successful career, all through my 20s, I aspired to study psychology. Why didn't I? Because my self-defeating beliefs about my worth held me back. I didn't believe in myself. In fact, I thought I wasn't smart enough. After going through my own therapeutic journey in my late 20s to my early 30s, I knew that I wanted to make a difference in my life as well as the lives of other people by supporting their emotional growth. Because of my own experience, I feel particularly inspired to help my clients deconstruct well-meaning, limiting dialogue that keeps them feeling stuck, empty, and unfulfilled. I'm particularly passionate about helping clients grow their potential, hence my chapter, so that they can identify what's possible in their own lives as opposed to living a life from who they think they are based on life expectations. More on that in a moment. My aim with clients is to encourage them to be adaptable and resilient so that they can get through life's ups and downs constructively. I believe that realising our potential is often an exploratory journey to who we are becoming. All right, so let's have a look at expectations of self. For the most part, our lives are defined by our expectations. Expectations are the beliefs that we have about ourselves, others, and our lives. There are a number of factors that influence our expectations, such as the community we grow up in, the family values we absorb, and the societal rules and demands placed upon us. Expectations are mostly the musts, the have-tos, and the shoulds in our life. For example, I must get straight A's for all my schoolwork. That was what was important to me when I was growing up. I have to visit my family even though I'm unwell. How often have we done that for other people and not feeling well ourselves? I should say yes when people ask me for help, even if I have other plans. How often have we done what someone has requested of us because we couldn't say no? Expectations are not wrong, but they can restrict the decisions and choices we make because there's an underlying assumption that something bad might happen if we don't follow through with them. Take a little time to write down as many musts, have-tos, and shoulds you think you have. Then list how these support or defeat you. In understanding our expectations, we can be more conscious of our decisions and our choices. So let's have a look at these. It's easy to think that decisions and choices are the same. And I guess from a certain point of view, they are. But in essence, they are a bit different. With decisions, we would generally be weighing up the pros and cons of whatever we are deliberating about. It's a very useful tool when there are a number of variables we need to consider. However, there are times when something inside of us conflicts with the decision-making process. A little voice nudges us in the direction of something that might feel more valid, but uncomfortable at the same time, because it doesn't follow through with the pros and cons formula. In fact, when we're making choices, it doesn't feel like we're following a formula at all. Choices are intrinsic. There's a strong sense of internal insight and knowing that the action or intention is the way forward. Unfortunately, we often have difficulty deciphering between decisions and choices because of our expectation and the meaning we place on our sense of self. Take some time to record the kind of formula-based decisions you make every day and compare them to some choices you made that felt internally driven. For example, you walk past a shop and your mind says, go in the shop, despite you are running late to meet a friend. Instead of deciding to keep going to avoid being late, you choose to go into the shop, and lo and behold, you bump into the friend. Trusting our internal instincts can feel uncomfortable because the choices and decisions we make are often driven by the way we define ourselves and who we think we are. Takes us to meaning of self. Now, who actually are we? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Are we who our parents want us to be? Who our friends want us to be? Who society wants us to be? In fact, we are all of the above. As we grow, we evolve into someone who we think we are supposed to be, which is fine because we need to fit into society and the family we're growing up in. But there comes a time when we start to consider whether who we are becoming is who we aspire to be. And what we are doing is what we want to be doing. Take the time to list how you define yourself and the actions you take based on what you know. Then make a list of how this differs from who you aspire to be or what you aspire to do. We keep moving in the known direction because we're afraid of change and afraid of the unknown self. Fear is the factor that depletes our confidence to engage in the unknown because the unknown can be very scary. This is normal because we're wired up this way to keep us safe doing activities we know well rather than moving into the uncomfortable unknown. The reason it's scary is because the outcomes are unknown. Amongst the various factors that hold us back is the fear of failure, the fear of not being good enough, and the fear of being judged. Take the time to record as many fears you have and have had that have gotten in the way of reaching your goals and moving forward. All these fears get in the way of growing and affirming our potential. Now let's define what I mean by affirming our potential. To affirm something means to declare it, support it, validate it, uphold or defend a position. Potential means qualities, abilities, capability, capacity. So to affirm our potential then is to declare and validate our qualities and abilities, whatever they might be. To uncover what our qualities and abilities are, we need to exercise our potential, put ourselves out there and experience the uncomfortableness of the unknown because, as it turns out, the unknown eventually becomes the new known. Working through the unknown experience might help us break through barriers and thereby, over time, evolve an affirmed self. That is, a self that is validated, supported by us, and declared into the world. Now, when I say unknown, I don't mean death-defying unknown. I mean taking steps towards goals that feel uncomfortable, but that over time we adjust to and feel comfy about again. Baby steps are fine. In fact, they are sometimes the best ones because we can evaluate and adjust along the way. Remember, choices are fabulous, but decisions are important too. Take some time now to brainstorm your potential qualities and abilities. Write down examples on how you already exercise these potentials and how you can exercise them in different ways moving forward. So in finishing up, let's recap on what we discussed. We've discussed understanding how expectations define our lives. We've clarified the difference between decisions and choices. We've explored the meaning we apply to our sense of self. We can appreciate how we can be held back by the fear of the unknown. And we've defined what it means to affirm our potential. We all might know some people who are driven by purpose and passion from a young age. But for most of us, as we move along the road to affirming our potential, we might uncover purpose and passion along the way. Just to end the workshop now with one of my statements, purpose provides the reasons that inspire action, and passion is the driver to having those actions realized. If we have compelling reasons to move in a certain direction, purpose follows. And as we move in that direction, we feel passionate about the actions that we're taking. Together, we get to where we're going. But in order to come across purpose and passion, we need to exercise our potential. If you'd like to connect with me, these are my professional pages. Feel free to sign up to my Helpful Hints newsletter. And I'd also like to take the opportunity before we finish to thank all the other authors who contributed to the Purpose and Passion book, as well as to Peace and Katie for making this venture possible. Thanks.